From NBC 10 News, your local election headquarters, this is the Louisiana Senate Debate, sponsored by Creed & Creed, your local injury attorneys.
Good evening and welcome to the debate in the race for State Senate seat District 35. We have an evening of debate for you tonight, starting from right now until 7 o'clock. I'm your host, Michelle Martin. We're also streaming this debate on our website, myarklamiss.com. That's important to notice because we will do the first half of the debate here on air, and then we're going to kick it over there to continue our conversation online. Again, that website, myarklamiss.com. Also here with us tonight is Zach Parker, reporter from the Washita Citizen. We're going to introduce you as well to our candidates here. Starting right here on the left, the far left, we have Jay Morris. To his right, we have Republican Matt Parker. Jay also a Republican, don't want to miss that. And finally, we have the incumbent in his district, Senator Jim Fannin, also a Republican. Now, gentlemen, we did a random drawing to pick the order in which we will start tonight, and each of you will have 1 minute for an opening statement, just 1 minute. We also have someone here in front of the cameras counting you down. You guys can't see them at home, but he's sitting right there in a lime green shirt. Don't miss it. When you hear that 1 minute signal, it's a bell. You're going to need to stop talking. You're going to have to wrap it up. So we're going to first start with Jay Morris.
Thank you, Michelle. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. As many of you know in the viewing audience, I came to public service only after my children had grown and I had established my business here in Washita Parish, where we employ presently 150 people in our area. I promised when I first ran for office that I would take a business approach to state spending. It was out of control, and a lot of us knew it was going to lead to massive deficits. So I became a leader in the House. The press dubbed us the fiscal hawks, and we fought hard to stop state spending that was unnecessary. We won some battles, we lost some battles, but at the end we made a difference. I am 100% with Louisiana Right to Life, and I'm 100% with the NFIB, the Small Business Group. I believe in the Second Amendment, and I led the fight to restore your Second Amendment tax holiday that other legislators took away. I am a constitutional, independent conservative, and I'd appreciate your vote. Thank you.
All right, now we move on to Matt Parker for your 1 minute. Go ahead, sir.
Well, thank you so much for having us here this evening. But you know, most people know me already. I've been in business at Parker Auto Body for over 35 years now. And the reason I decided to run is, you know, I have children, I have grandchildren here, and I'm just not happy with the direction that Louisiana is moving in. This is the most unfriendly business state that there is in this whole country. And I just believe we can do a better job. If we want our businesses to prosper, we're going to have to change our tax structure, and we're going to also have to change our regulations. But I'm also pro-life. I'm a veteran. I spent 4 years in the United States Air Force. And I'm Second Amendment, strongly Second Amendment. I'm an instructor with the NRA and all certified. I'm in all different kinds of firearm disciplines. And I believe that we can do a better job here in Louisiana. In fact, I know we can, but we can't do it if we keep putting the same people in Baton Rouge.
All right, we're going to move now on to Senator Jim. Go ahead and let us know.
Thank you. It's a privilege to be here this evening and come into your homes through Channel 10 here. We thank the station for allowing us to do that. Just to share with you that my experience in the legislative process will be more important than ever. Because all of our legislators in Washita Parish will be new legislators, and to have that experience in Baton Rouge will be important. I certainly have been active in all of our pro-life. I have 100% with the Family Forum, 100% rating with Right to Life. I have the endorsement of many, many business organizations, and to get that endorsement, you have to have voted right with business votes through your career, and I've done that and have that endorsement. I am an NRA member and support those causes likewise. So it'll be an honor to continue to serve you in Baton Rouge.
All right, thank you so much, gentlemen. Right now, we're going to move on to the questions portion of the evening. Each candidate will get questions directed at them, and we'll have 1 minute to answer. If another candidate wishes to add their thoughts to that question, they will have an additional 30 seconds to follow up. Now, Zach Parker has our very first question.
The first question goes to you, Senator Fannin. Your campaign has touted your key support in creating high-impact projects that in turn created, quote, meaningful jobs for Ouachita Parish families, end quote. Could you list some of those projects and the number of jobs created?
Well, the number of jobs are thousands. If you look at all the business organizations that are supporting me, like CenturyLink, like Graphics Packaging, they employ West Rock over in Jackson Parish. They employ thousands and pay high quality salaries to our employees. So the reason that these individuals and all of the groups with the logos that you see on my advertisement has supported me is because I have voted for those business initiatives that improve our job outlook in this state, and will continue to do that, to be pro-jobs and to allow our young people and our grandchildren to be able to stay here and have those quality jobs here in Louisiana and not export our talent to other states.
All right, gentlemen, we'll start with Jay. Is there any kind of follow-up you'd like to offer? 30 seconds.
Sure. You know, I don't have all the logos behind my name. That just indicates that you're willing to do whatever those logo people want to tell you to do. Like, for example, one of the groups that endorsed Senator Fannin had a bill to keep chemical spills a secret, and those of us with some guts in the House stepped up and killed that bill. I also have the support, not of the logos, but I have the support of a lot of executives around this town, including several that work at CenturyLink.
All right, Matt?
I have one thing to say. If everything's so great with businesses in Louisiana, then why do we not have any new businesses come to Louisiana, and why are so many businesses leaving the state? Because there's so many things that's wrong with our tax structure and our regulations. The things need to change here in Louisiana, folks, if we're going to change this state.
Okay, Mr. Morris, we've got a question for you. During a previous discussion of House Bill 578, otherwise known as the infrastructure bill, Senator Fannin argued that you could have tacked on an amendment in the House that would have allocated money for a project in northeastern Louisiana. He said Mr. Morris had that opportunity to walk to the mic and do that. He didn't do that. He chose not to do anything for northeast Louisiana. Your response, sir?
That's absolutely false. We did go to the mic and we did put an amendment on the bill which would have allocated over $400 million to all the DOTD districts around the state evenly. And I anticipated that Senator Fannin might again say that we didn't do that. So I've got a letter here from the House Fiscal Division that clearly says that the bill as it left the House had $418 million to be spread among all the DOTD districts. However, when it got to the Senate, everything was gutted and zero came to Ouachita Parish. Zero came to Lincoln Parish. Zero came to District 35. And that's exactly what happened. And all the senators in our area voted for that bill. When it got back to the House, it was an up or down vote, and I voted no, and I carried some other votes with me on the no side.
All right, since this directly impacts you and your role in that, I'll let you have that first 30 seconds.
Okay, absolutely. You know, Mr. Morris had every opportunity. I'll say it again. He had the opportunity. He's a House member. That was a House bill. You know, he had the opportunity to offer those amendments. When that bill came, according to my Senate staff, when that bill came to the Senate, it only had it had no bonding authority. It had 3 projects. It had $25 million to Port Pouchon, $25 million to the bridge project in Baton Rouge, and then it had $3 million spread among 9 highway districts. And $3 million among 9 highway districts will not build a bridge in anybody's district.
Okay, we've run out of time for that. Matt, would you like to respond? You have 30 seconds.
I absolutely would. Let me tell you, here we go again. point fingers at each other. What needs to happen in Baton Rouge, people, is that we need to have a delegation that will go down there and fight for our district and fight for Northeast Louisiana. And I don't see that happening down there. And that's why I got into this race, because I believe we can do a lot better than what we're doing in Baton Rouge.
All right, well, I have a question for all of you. We're going to start with you. You already spoke on it in your opening statement a little bit and a couple of times in your response. You're saying businesses are leaving the state. How do you what is your plan to get businesses to, number one, stay in the state and to come back or come to as new?
Well, the first thing that I think that we should do in Louisiana down there is we should make our tax structure friendly enough to where businesses will want to come here. We need to reduce our regulations. We're in a tire business, and my son-in-law that runs that store, they give him fits all the time, because of all the things that they say about his tires aren't out, they're not covered up, and then they send him fines and whatever. But the bottom line is we need to bring friendlier tax structure to Louisiana to bring businesses to our state and not have to pay businesses to stay here. We gotta change this, folks. If we don't, we're never gonna move forward. We're never gonna get the state out of the hole that it's in.
The opportunity for a 30-second rebuttal.
Yes. Well, let me say again, the reason that I have the endorsements of all the logos is because my votes reflect that I have been with businesses in trying to correct the tort reform, trying to correct the issues that this state has about tax policy, and to make a business climate that we can have new businesses come, but more importantly, maintain the ones that we have and allow them to grow. That's why they support me, because I have that vote and that record for those businesses in this state.
All right, Jay, for you.
Well, for the record, I have 100% with the small business lobby, and I think small business is the backbone of our economy. For example, if you own a lawn service, or if you own a collision shop like Matt does, or an insurance agency or another small business, you have to pay sales taxes when you buy equipment, but manufacturers now pay zero. Let's make it equal for everybody. Let the small businesses pay zero as well.
All right, gentlemen, thank you.
Mr. Parker, unlike your two opponents, you do not have any experience as a legislator. How does that affect your qualifications for state senate?
Well, I'm going to go down there and represent the people of our district, just like I would. When these guys first went to Baton Rouge, they didn't have any experience either. But I had the want to and the desire to go down there and change this state, because this is a great state that we live in. We have the most natural resources in the whole country. We have the Mississippi River, and there's no reason for Louisiana to be last at so many different things.
I'm going to start with Jay. Do you have a response? 30 seconds.
Just because you've got 8 years experience doesn't mean you can't be a good legislator, and my record shows that I was a fighter down there, and I fought so hard that I made the power brokers down there a little angry with me. So they don't want somebody that does not conform to the way things they think ought to be. So I fight for our district, not for them.
All right, Jim.
Well, to bring anything home, you have to build a reputation, and you have to build a coalition, and you have to have friends in Baton Rouge to get it done. It's easy to say we're going to go down and change things, but I think my record will indicate to you that I've worked across the line, that I have the respect of the bodies down there in order to bring the projects home to North Louisiana that I have brought home, and will continue to do that. And it's done by not standing alone on issues. It's done by working together to get enough votes to pass bills in that body.
All right, gentlemen, thank you. We're going to go to our first viewer question. We're going to take a look at what this individual has to say. This question for Jay Morris. Michael Riley asked where you stand on the gas tax increase that did not pass last year. Jay, what's your answer for Michael?
Well, I'm not willing to tax the ordinary citizens more for gas in order to pay for infrastructure that we're not going to get here. I mean, we know that a lot of our money is going to go south of I-10, and a lot of industry wants some infrastructure built. So I say we bring together a coalition of people, including industry, and let them help pay for the infrastructure they want, and that will allow us to have the money to redirect and reprioritize to pay for infrastructure that we can get right here in Senate District 35.
All right, I'll go with Matt. Do you have a 30-second response?
I do. I tell you, I will not vote for any taxes until I know that the money that we have, that we're being taxed on today, is being spent properly. And I just don't see that. I think about half of the money that we collect on gas tax actually goes to fixing the roads. The rest of it goes to who knows where. Looks like salaries and you know, and those kind of things, and retirement plans. But the money that we take in for road taxes should be spent on roads.
Yes, you know, the question is, I mean, would we vote for increased gas tax? My answer to that is, at some point, we will have to have an increase if we're going to continue to fix our roads. The way that I think we do it, we did it with the time program where we spell out exactly what roads is going to be done, exactly what, that we did it with the 4 cents then, and that's why we have all of our 4-lane highways up and down and across this state today. So I'm always open, but it would have to be a very tight, organized effort to do that.
All right, we have another question from a viewer, this one for Senator Fannin. It's from Charles Holloway. He asked, we have gone 3 years with no progress on the problem with the spillway at Shinny Lake. What will you do to get that project completed?
Well, I've already done it. I have the commitment from the Secretary that the money is committed for the greater than $4 million for the new bridge and the spillway to begin sometime around July the 1st of next year. So that money is already committed to do that project, and we'll make sure that it continues to stay on the right timeline.
I'm going to give you guys an opportunity for a brief response, Jay.
Yes, I'll say this. It's a travesty what's happened to the people who live around Shinny Lake. They don't have any water in front of their homes or on their docks. There's a big mud waste, and there's been plenty of time to fix this thing. There was a cooperative endeavor agreement signed between the police jury and the state of Louisiana, and then after a contentious meeting that Senator Fannin attended, suddenly that project was killed, and everybody wants to know why.
Matt?
Absolutely, and I agree with what Jay just said. You know, it's a shame that those people don't have any water in their lake, but you know what, it's just a priority too. So that doesn't really mean that actually is going to happen. That just means that it's a priority too. That money could disappear overnight and never be seen again, just like it has in the past.
Just going to remind you that this is going to continue after the half hour on our website, and you'll have opportunities to bring up anything you want to add to the conversation. So hold these comments to yourself, and we're going to cover them all in the next half hour. All right, this next viewer question is from Matt Parker. Chip Gunner asks, why are insurance rates so high in this state? Can you help reduce that? Matt, what is your answer for Chip?
Well, I believe that if we want to reduce our insurance, we're going to have to change the way things are done in Louisiana. You know, we have an insurance commissioner that has been down there for 12 years, and ever since he's been down there, our rates have continued to rise. And there's a lot of things that people talk about. Of course, we don't have time to get into it in a minute, but there's a lot of things that could be changed in Louisiana. But I believe that we can change the insurance rates in Louisiana. As you know, I ran for insurance commissioner a few years ago.
All right, Jim?
Yes, and we made efforts this session, and the bill didn't get out to reduce insurance rates in this state, but the largest issue will be tort reform. There are too many lawsuits in this state that causes our insurance rates. Arkansas, which is just not far from here, has half the insurance rate that we have. But I will continue to try to reduce those rates, because it's about to put all of our trucking industry in jeopardy from not being able to have insurance.
All right, Jay.
Good question, Ms. Shelley. Absolutely, tort reform is an issue, and the bill didn't get out of the Senate, but the bill did get out of the House, and I voted for it. And I'm the only candidate in the race who has actually authored a tort reform bill, a sweeping class action reform that reduces the number of frivolous class actions that have had in this state ever since that bill passed.
All right, gentlemen, this final viewer question is one each candidate can answer. Ronald Roy asks, will you fight for an increase in the minimum wage? Let's start with Jim.
Well, no, I will not fight for an increase in the minimum wage. I've always taken the position that I will stay with the federal minimum wage. Minimum is minimum. It's where our people get training from. So if you have the right training, and we have a lot of good educational opportunities in this state for people to get trained, when you get that training, then employers will automatically increase that to a wage that will be a respectable and a good wage. But we're shutting out our youth tremendously if we don't allow them to get training and a place to start, and I think the minimum wage does that. But if you visit with employers today, they will tell you, as hard as employees to get, then one way to do that is to get some on-the-job training and to get it where employees can afford it, and that's the reason that I would continue to support the minimum wage that we have until the federal law changes.
All right, thank you. Matt, same question for you. Would you increase the minimum wage?
I'm going to go with Mr. Fannin on this one because, you know, being a business owner, we bring young people in and we try to train them. And if we're trying to pay them too much money, then we won't be able to spend as much time training them as necessary. But I believe that if the person comes in and they show an initiative, in my business, they don't stay at minimum wage very long. If they show an initiative and are willing to learn and pay attention to what's going on in there while we're trying to teach them, then they're not at minimum wage very long. And I would feel like most businesses are probably the same way.
All right, JD.
Yeah, Michelle, we have 150 people in our business. We have no employees at minimum wage unless they're college-age kids trying to make a few extra bucks. But I wouldn't be in favor of raising the minimum wage. The minimum wage can really damage youth employment, and people won't. There are not many employers who'll give kids a chance, and so the increase in the minimum wage, statistics have shown, lowers the youth employment in an area. And you know, we got to give these kids a chance to learn the work ethic as young people, so that when they get older, they know how to have a real job.
All right, and let Zach take this next question for you gentlemen.
This is for all three of you. Louisiana has recently made some advances toward prescribing medical marijuana for patients. This has presented a possible conflict for some patients who are afraid to access medical marijuana because of drug screen tests and the stigma attached to the drug. Should Louisiana allow marijuana as the recreational use of marijuana like other states?
First of all, no. If you're asking me first, you looked at me, so I assume you meant it for me. No, I would not be in favor of recreational marijuana. It's causing some damage up in Colorado where they've legalized it, and the last thing we need in this state is more drug and alcohol abuse. So I wouldn't be in favor of it. I did vote to allow medical marijuana for those people who are suffering from a range of diseases, and I voted to allow the farming of hemp, which is harmless when it comes to mind-altering propensities. So I think it's important for our farmers to have that opportunity to grow hemp.
Mr. Parker?
Well, I believe, like Jay, I believe that CBD, and that's the other chemical that's in the marijuana, I believe that it has great medicinal purposes, and it's been proven that it has cured a lot of these children from some of the illnesses that they have. And it's actually been proven in several instances where it's actually helped with cancer and the pain from the cancer. But I'm not for making marijuana legal in Louisiana other than for medicinal purposes.
Yes, I would say my record would indicate that I've not supported any of the marijuana uses in this state, even medical, simply because the Federal Drug Administration has not approved any of those at this point. So I've not supported any of them and will not until such time that they've been tested, other than it's absolutely known that some people have benefited from that, and that's probably a good thing. But hemp, I did not vote for that bill because I think we have too many issues with our young people today, and too many ways for them to use marijuana and even CBD oil in ways that's not good for society.
All right, I have a question for all three candidates. All of you guys are older white men speaking to minorities in Louisiana in District 35. How can you represent them at that state capital, that state level? We're going to start with Matt.
Well, I tell you, I'm going to go down there and represent all the people of District 35. It doesn't matter to me what color you are or what your background is, because I believe everyone was created equal in the eyes of God. So I think they should all be represented equally. And that's what I'm going to do when I go to Baton Rouge. I'm going to go down there and represent all the folks. And I want to hear from the folks. I want to, because I believe that if you don't talk to people, how do you know what they actually need? We need to have a better relationship with our constituents and people that we meet on a daily basis. And I believe that we can do this, and that's what I want to bring to this district.
All right, Jay.
Well, Michelle, the record will show that we've got a business that has a very diverse workforce. We have 150 people, and we have people of all various backgrounds, races, denominations, and the like. And we have a record of never having an Equal Opportunity Act claim successfully prosecuted against us. We've never had to pay a dime for discriminating against anyone. And the reason is we simply don't discriminate. And anybody that knows my reputation can tell you about that. In addition, I just happen to have 5 little Asian nieces and a nephew that I adore and love them to death. And certainly nobody could say that I've got a discriminatory bone in my body.
Jim.
Yeah, well, I've served on the Jackson Parish School Board, on the police jury. I've had the opportunity to work with minorities. I was a school teacher early on, worked in a majority minority school. I developed relationships that continue to have friends today in the minority community. I have supporters all over this district that are minorities that will continue because they know I have represented them. I've listened to them whenever they had issues that come up in their areas, and I will continue to do that, and have always, and my record would indicate that that's what happens when it comes to representing all people equally.
All right, gentlemen, thank you so much for answering these questions and submitting yourself to viewer questions. We're actually wrapping up our on-air portion. Thank you for watching the State Senate District 35 debate. Now, if you're watching this live on NBC 10, we'll continue this conversation online on our website, myarklamiss.com. Now, if you're watching the rebroadcast on Fox 14, the entire debate is available as the top story on our website. Now, for our co-host, Zach Parker, the candidates, and our entire crew, I'm Michelle Martin. Have a great night.
From NBC 10 News, your local election headquarters, this has been the Louisiana Senate Debate. Sponsored by Creed & Creed, your local injury attorneys.
Back, if you were with us on NBC 10 from 6:30 till 7, you got to see the first half of our live debate for State Senate District 35. Of course, we have Jay Morris, Matt Parker, and the incumbent Senator Jim Fannin with us, and they're going to hang out with us for another half hour, answer some questions from us, maybe get some viewer questions involved as well. Now, while we were talking during the on-air broadcast, we said that this is going to be the time to come back with anything you want to say, any unanswered questions or anything you want to add to the conversation. And so I'm just going to start with Jay. So if you had anything you wanted to add to any questions that were asked, this is the time to do it. All right. Okay.
Well, one of the issues in this campaign obviously has been House Bill 578. And I respect Senator Fannin, and I'm not saying he hasn't done good things for the state in his 16 years or 25 years in politics that he's been doing it. However, on this issue, it is simply not true that each DOTD district was going to get $3 million. That's misleading the voters, and that's misleading the constituencies in this area. And I've got a memorandum from the House Legislative Services that says specifically on the House floor, an amendment authored by Representative Stefanski, who I consulted with, was adopted, which did the following. 1, allocated the remaining funding, approximately $418.29 million, to be divided equally among all 9 of the DOTD highway districts, with 50% going to preservation, bridges, and safety projects, and 50% going to capacity project designed in the Louisiana statewide transportation plan. That is in black and white, and to say otherwise is simply wrong for the voters.
Well, I would say to you, Jay, that a letter is not the record and it's not the bill. If you go pull the bill as it left the House, and all of our constituents can do that, it don't have to be a letter. Let me get through. Let the people out here understand clearly that that record is there, and they can see how it left the House and how it came to the Senate, and it came to the Senate with, out of $53 million that was to be spent, $25 million went to Port Fourchon, $25 million went to the bridge in Baton Rouge, and $3 million that was left went to the 9 highway districts. And the Senate did change it, and you can listen to every representative and senator that represents the Northeast was in disagreement with you to say that we didn't get anything. We got $40 million out of this bill that we can spend on bridges on our rural roads that have issues every day with being closed or load limits, and to say that we got nothing is not accurate, and to say that that it came to the Senate in any way other than because our staff, and you're saying your staff, but I can share with you my staff, and the record is there for the individuals and the people in this district to pull up and look at and see how it came from the House, not a letter from somebody.
All right, Matt, do you have anything you'd like to add to this conversation?
I do. You know, they talk about this $40 million, but you know what doesn't seem to be explained to the folks is that that $40 million was supposed to be divided amongst 64 parishes across the state. And based on our track record, I don't think we would have saw much of that money, of that $40 million. And then, you know, I think the audience and the people that are out there that are listening to what we're saying tonight, I don't think they really care who did what or what happened. But what the actual fact is that we didn't get any money in Northeast Louisiana. And people want someone down there to bring some bread home to fix some of these terrible roads that we have and some of the infrastructure and drainage problems that we have here. And the guys that were down there just didn't do it.
Let Zach jump in here with a question.
And this question is for all 3 candidates. Higher ed education does not have funding protected by the state constitution. Earlier this year, the University of Louisiana Monroe proposed a tax to assist them with facility operations and upgrades. Should ULM pursue tax proposals like that, or are there other ways to provide a more secure funding for higher education in Louisiana? And then we'll start with Senator Fan.
Yeah, well, I think that's a local issue as to how the local funding piece would affect higher education, and I think we have quality elected officials here to make that decision as to where it's the right thing to do or not. Certainly today we have very few places that locals participate in the 4-year higher ed programs. We do have some in our community college and in that area, but not many locals. But if the locals choose to do that, and that's what they would want to do to increase the funding to the university, then I think it would be left up to the locals since they are elected officials.
Thank you. Mr. Parker.
Well, I believe that there's plenty of money in Baton Rouge. I just think it's been being spent the wrong way. I think there's a lot of waste down there, and I think that we need to do a better job in educating our students and children here in Louisiana. We also need to spend a little more time and money on vocational skills. You know, there's an extreme shortage out there in vocational skills, like plumbers, electricians, those kind of jobs. And I don't know where we're going to get these guys to work in the collision repair industry, because there's just not any out there anymore. And so I believe that there's plenty of money in Baton Rouge that could be allocated to work with our education and educate these people better.
Thank you. Representative Morris.
The question was, would we support a tax that Nick Bruno kind of floated the idea about property tax in order to support higher ed, because it doesn't have a stable funding source. And the answer is, I would not support that, because what would happen is that the state would simply provide us less through the Board of Regents proportionate to the amount that we collect in taxes here. They would love it if we would tax ourselves and save them money, and more money would end up going to ULL or something like that. I will say this, that Senator Fannin, as Chairman of Appropriations, presided over the largest cut to higher education in the history of the state of Louisiana. And I have had bills that would actually provide a funding source by lifting exemptions and diverting that money directly to higher education.
You can give it like 30 seconds to get back.
I'd like to respond to that. We had the greatest recession when we had to make those reductions, not only to higher ed, but everything across this state, because we had the greatest recession and it affected everybody, and we did not have the revenue coming into this state, and we made the necessary corrections to have a balanced budget that the Constitution required us to do. We didn't just touch higher ed, it touched everybody across this state. So sometimes you have to do what you have to do in balancing the budget, but the Constitution requires that to happen.
Mr. Parker, I've got a question for you. Tonight you've talked about the need for Louisiana to be more business friendly. You've said, I think we can do a better job than what we've been doing. I just believe we can do better. You referred to the tax structure and also to regulations. Could you provide some specifics on what about the tax structure needed to be reformed and what regulations needed to be eliminated?
Well, and not being in Baton Rouge, I don't know all the intricacies about the taxes and how they're set up, but I do know this. I do know that there's a lot of waste in Louisiana, and I believe that we can change that and make it to where we don't have so much waste in Louisiana. I think that, if we want to bring businesses to Louisiana, see, what I see happening here is that we got too many people riding in a cart and not enough people pulling it. And until we bring more people to Louisiana and more jobs to Louisiana, then our tax base gets smaller and smaller. So the smaller the tax base gets, the more people have to pay. But if we bring more people into Louisiana with new jobs and decrease regulations and make this state a business-friendly state, I believe that we can broaden the tax base and more people will be pulling the wagon instead of riding in it.
Thank you, sir. Senator Fannin, do you have a response?
Yeah, well, I've passed legislation that would do exactly what Mr. Parker says. I passed a career diploma in this state to allow our students to have options in high school with careers. Our graduation rate was like 67%, and this past year it was 81.4%. All of those are having career training, and it will make opportunities for people to have jobs and to not have to be looking for assistance from the government. So the more people that we can educate and train, the more people that we have in the workforce, and that helps our bottom line as far as the budget.
I've heard Senator Fannin talk about the career diploma bill, and I'm not saying it's a terrible bill. However, we could increase the graduation rate to 100%. We could just pass a law that says if you have a pulse and you're 18, you get a diploma. The question is, are we actually educating people, and are they developing the skills necessary to do the work? And to do that, well, there are a lot of things that have to come into place, but we have to develop a work ethic in this state where young people are taught that you have to work in order to pay your way in society. And I think I've expressed all my legislation that I've tried to do to encourage work before you get a government handout.
We're going to go ahead and move on to another question, and then we're going to circle back. All right, so according to the United Way, 57% of the population here in Northeast Louisiana lives either at the poverty level or they're living off of ALICE. That's that asset limited income constrained employed. Now, these are people living paycheck to paycheck or direct deposit to direct deposit. How do you fight for them in Baton Rouge? How do you keep them here? Because it's not just people leaving for job opportunities or because they want to go to a different school. It's people leaving because they cannot afford to live here. What do we do? We'll start with that.
Well, if you've reduced our taxes and regulations, then the businesses that are so heavily burdened by those things would be able to pay their employees a little bit more money instead of having to have those folks. Look, I got people that work for me that make almost $100,000 a year working in the collision repair industry, been doing it for years, and those guys cannot afford to pay their hospitalization insurance. And those are the guys that we're talking about, Alice. They work so hard for their money, but they're not able to make just enough to pay for the insurance because it's completely out of control here in this state.
We're going to go to Jay.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we have a rising tide lifts all boats. And so we do need to encourage industry, and we need to equalize the tax base between large businesses and small businesses. We need to target our incentive programs instead of just giving away money to whoever has the best lobbyist or the best logos, if you will. Let's pick out somebody that's actually going to create jobs and bring them here, and let's incentivize those people. And that's the way you attack poverty.
Well, the way you attack it is education. I came from nothing as a young man, and education brought me to where I am today. When I taught school, I saw young people that was in poverty, and the education process then moved them up to where they have a respectable living and good families. The education is how we move people out of poverty and move them up to the point that they have a good life. Through the entire life, whether it's raising family, creating jobs themselves, but it's the education, and like I say, the career diploma, contrary to what Jerry says, the career diploma has standards by which you have to meet in this state, and when those standards are met, we have people that are trained more. We have a result today of 40 years of 40% dropout almost in this state that we didn't train for any, and that's why we're in a shortage today of trained people.
Thank you. And a follow-up to the matter of Shinny Lakes, Senator Fannin, before the state pledged the $4 million to repair the Shinny Lake Spillway and Highway 3033 bridge, you made several critical remarks aimed at the Ouachita Parish Police Jury for not spending parish funds to make the temporary repairs to the lake's failing spillway. You said, I didn't know why it hadn't been done. Maybe they had other projects that were more important. As a member of the Senate, you're also on the Committee for Transportation, Highways, and Public Works. And as of this date, water is continuing to dry up at Shinny Lake, and no effort has yet been made by the legislature to allocate emergency funding to make those temporary repairs.
Let's make it clear, the Shinny Lake belongs to the Ouachita Parish Police Jury. The spillway belongs to the jury. The state has no jurisdiction over the spillway and has no jurisdiction over the water. If it was left up to the state, I feel comfortable at telling you that the panels would be back in that. The DOTD has indicated the bridge, and I have the letter here, and you've seen it from DOTD, that says the bridge is safe and it does not have a load limit on it. And if it gets to the point it's not safe, if the panels are put back in, the panels should have been put back in a year ago. They shouldn't have ever been taken out to drain it completely, but they were, and not at any request of the state. But we have the $4 million for the spillway. The $300,000 that was requested was a capital outlay request, different from the other. And nobody that makes a capital outlay request the first year gets it into priority one. And it's always up to the governor to determine whether it's emergency or not, and that did not happen.
Would either of you two like to make a statement?
Sure. I mean, first of all, it shouldn't have been the first year that it was requested in capital outlay. It should have been requested 3 years ago. And what I hear Senator Fannin saying is, the police jury owns it, so police jury, you deal with it. And if it was me representing that area, which I hope to in the future, I would be fighting like the Dickens. I'm not on joint budget. But if I was on joint budget, like Senator Fannin, I'd be down there looking for a BA7 for emergency funding. And you can't tell me that when money really needs to go somewhere in this state, the governor and the legislature can find a way to do it, in my opinion, and in my experience.
Matt?
I agree with what Jay just said. I believe there should be water in that lake, and it should have been in there a long time ago. And look, just the fact that we had $700 million and we didn't get a penny of it. I don't see why some of that money couldn't have been used for this lake. And then also, we just had a tax increase, and I think they said we had a $300 million surplus now. I think it's closer to a $500 million surplus. So why in the world doesn't that lake have water back in it? I just don't understand it.
All right, I have a question for all of y'all, and this is going to take us all the way back to about that 6:31 mark, all right, our opening statements. You each gave a minute-long statement and kind of gave everybody a rundown of who you are. All of you mentioned the Second Amendment. All of you mentioned friendly business, right to life. With the similarities that exist with y'all, how do you stand out to the voters? How do you tell them what you stand for and how you're going to be different than your cohort? I'm going to start with Jay.
Well, I think I have a record that stands for itself. I've proven myself someone that fights for our district, regardless of the consequences. When John Bell Edwards vetoed the River Styx project, who rattled the trees? I did. I put it all over Facebook. I made a lot of people mad. But because the media wrote some really good stories, hey, you know what? That River Styx project got funded. And it wasn't until I started raising Cain about it. I would do the same thing if I had Shenny Lake. And when Governor Jindal wanted something, if I didn't agree with it, I would stand up with it. I wouldn't just go along with whatever he wanted, including things like devastating cuts to higher education.
All right, Jim.
Let me say that I think my record and my experience separates me from the other candidates up here in that if you look at Representative Morris and how many bills that he's passed, he files a lot of bills, but he doesn't pass a lot of bills simply because the votes are not there with him. If you look at how many bills I've passed in the last 8 years and the governor signed, there's a lot of difference in authoring a bill and passing a bill. And it takes your constituents working with you and you with them to get the votes. It takes 53 votes on the House side, and it takes 20 votes on the Senate side in order to pass legislation. So I think my record stands for itself on how many bills and legislation that I've passed in order to benefit the citizens of this area, and the projects that we bring home simply shows that I have the working relationship and the ability to work across the lines in order to get things done for our citizens. I will continue to do that.
All right, Matt.
Well, I don't have any experience in Baton Rouge, but based on the experience that I just heard about, I don't think that's the kind of experience that we need in Baton Rouge. We need some people in Baton Rouge that'll bring some bacon home, so to speak. We need some people down, and I do have a lot of experience in business. We've been in business since 1983, and in this state, it's not very easy to continue a business and prosper and to grow your business in Louisiana. And one of the things that we need to do here with our businesses is, we need to take care of the businesses that we have here in Louisiana already. I don't know why we can only offer incentives to new businesses coming in. Why not let's take care of the businesses that we have here in Louisiana? But as far as experience, yes, I have a lot of experience in business, and I plan on taking that experience in my business down to Baton Rouge, and let's use a little bit of common sense down there, which doesn't seem to be so common anymore.
Representative Morris, in a follow-up to some of Senator Fannon's remarks, since 2015 you filed nearly 80 bills for consideration by the state legislature, but only about 5 of those were ultimately signed into law. Could you elaborate on why those bills were not successful, and if elected to the Senate, why the voters could expect something different?
Well, you got to understand, Zach, I was on Ways and Means, and under Senator Fannon's leadership with appropriations, at the conclusion of 8 years of being chairman of appropriations, we had a $2 billion deficit that we were going to have to close, or else ULM and Louisiana Tech might have to close. And Senator Fannin passed a lot of bills, indeed, bills that drained every single trust fund we had, that spent money like nobody's business, that wasted your taxpayer dollars at the expense of higher education. And so, yes, I found a lot of bills that were trial balloons, but the handful that passed actually did something. You can pass 1,000 bills down there if you're there for 25 years, but that doesn't mean they're actually going to do very much.
Thank you. Mr. Parker, question to you, sir. In recent publicized remarks and advertisements, Senator Fannin and Representative Morris have targeted their criticisms at each other as their campaigns advanced. Why might your opponents be wrong to discount your presence in this race?
Well, I hope they continue to do that myself. You know, just leave me out of the picture altogether. But no, I don't know. I guess because I don't have any experience in Baton Rouge, and but you know what? I think that's the kind of leadership that we need in Baton Rouge, because the experience that we've had in Baton Rouge in the past, well, look where it's gotten the state. We're last at everything. We have the highest insurance in the whole country, and I don't see a future here if we don't change things. We have got to change the way things are done here in Louisiana. And I'll go down there and I'll fight for the folks like you've never seen before, because I'm a fighter and I always have been, and it takes a fighter to survive in business in Louisiana.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Oh.
Sorry.
All right, thank you. All right, guys, we're going to go to a question that's for everybody. There have been many mass shootings across the United States. Now, one proposal has been that we should have these red flag laws. Is there any way Louisiana could create a red flag law that still has due process, that still allows for the people to be protected? Oh, I guess I have. Go ahead, Jim. Sorry.
Yeah, pick somebody.
Well, you know, I just saw a figure today on the national news where opioid deaths in this country is greater than all the automobile accidents this past year and all of the shootings this past year. And the big issue in Washington and seems to be everywhere is guns. The issue should be opioids and illegal drug use in this state as a top priority. Certainly we need to make sure that our gun issues are addressed, but I'm telling you, we have some of the best gun laws in Louisiana that any state in America has. And I will continue to support that, but the reality is we need to move our attention to what's really causing the problem, and it's drugs in America, and it's drugs in Louisiana, and it's drugs in Ouachita Parish.
All right, Matt.
Well, you know, and I have to agree with with a lot of what Jim just said there. We have plenty of gun laws on the books already, and we don't need any. We don't need to punish the gun owners that we have here in the state that are abiding the laws and doing the right things. And he talked about the opioids, so I'll just interject this. One of the things that we found out through all these mass shootings throughout the country is that most every one of those people have been on some type of antidepressant or drugs. So I think that we need to take a harder look at what's going on with the drugs in this country, and we actually need to shut this border down and eliminate all this stuff from coming in here. I don't know if that's possible, but we got to make the attempt for our children and for the future generations of this country.
Jay?
Well, I don't think anybody's actually addressed the question, which was about red flag laws, which are laws which would try to set up some sort of screening for mentally ill people. And in a perfect world, that would be a fine thing, but we don't live in a perfect world. Right. And we live in a political world. And it could be that those red flag laws are used in a political way to punish people who own a firearm, you know, where the government is going to decide who can have a firearm and who can't have a firearm. And that's a very dangerous proposition, and it could well infringe on the Second Amendment.
Senator Fannin, your campaign has repeatedly pointed out your endorsements by political action committees or PACs, many of which are associated with lobbyist groups supporting major corporations, oil and gas, builders and contractors, the chemical industry, and the logging industry. does support from those special interest groups and the thousands of dollars in campaign contributions compromise your focus or work in the Senate?
Absolutely not, because they represent jobs out here and quality jobs. Every one of those logos has thousands of employees that they represent. And they can't always be in Baton Rouge to deal with issues, but they hire organizations and have organizations that many of them have endorsed me, but they represent our jobs locally here. I also have a 100% voting record with NFIB, which is a small business. Not only do I have 100% with lobby, which are generally considered the large ones, but I have 100% with NFIB also, which is the small business group. So I work with them all, and in no way, I think if you look at my record, I'm with them sometime and not always with them. But at the end of the day, it's about jobs in this district and keeping good jobs, and we have to do that. We're working with our business and industry in this area so that we can keep them and create new jobs for our children and grandchildren.
Thank you. Anything either you two gentlemen would like to add?
Sure. You know, Senator Fanning contradicted himself. He said he was 100% with them, but he didn't go with them all the time. And that's the thing about Baton Rouge. I've been down there for 8 years, and they want you to conform to a particular way. Everybody, legislators run around scared. Oh, what's my rating going to be with this group or that group? Or I'm not going to get any campaign contributions if I don't stick with them. And somebody at some point needs to have the guts to just say, no, I'm not going to do what you say. I'm going to do what I think is right for the district. An example is what I call the Keep Chemical Spills a Secret bill. Lobby was supporting a bill, pushing it through the legislature, that would allow chemical companies and big manufacturers to decide that a chemical spill was small in their opinion, and then once that was done, they could stamp every document in connection with that spill, and it would be hidden from view and immune from subpoena from the law enforcement and the Department of Environmental Quality. Somebody's got to stand up to those kind of things, and that's why they don't want me in Baton Rouge, but I think the people of Senate District 35 will.
Well, the endorsement that I'm looking for is the endorsement of the people of Northeast Louisiana. And I'm going to go down there and I'm going to represent the folks up here like they need to be represented. And, you know, I don't know what else to say about that. I mean, we need to go down there and do what we need to do. We're going to have to make some tough decisions. And we're going to have to change the state. If we don't, there's no future in Louisiana. We've got to change it.
All right, gentlemen, thank you so much. And we're wrapping up this debate with the State Senate District 35 candidates. We're going to move on to our closing statements. We're going to start with Jim Fannin. You get a minute for this.
Thank you. It's been an honor for me to be here. It's also been an honor for me to represent as your senator from Senate District 35. I would ask for your continued support and vote as we move forward, using our legislative experience to continue to bring projects home, to create legislation. And unlike Mr. Morris, I have been able to pass many bills, and many of them are excellent bills for our business group. If you understand that only 25% of the voters in Louisiana live above Alexandria, and some would question even not that many, then you know, you have to work across party lines. You have to build relationships with people, or we wouldn't get anything. And I've been able to do that with other legislatures. I'll continue to do that with the new legislature, and at the same time offer my experience to get through the process with all the new legislatures that will be in place.
All right, thank you, Mr. Fannin. We're going to move on to Mr. Matt Parker. You get a minute for your closing statements.
Thank you so much. Look, if the people of District 35 are happy with what's going on here in Louisiana today, well then by all means, I'm not the guy that you want to vote for. But if you're tired of what's happening and you're ready to see some change in Louisiana and you're ready to see some new jobs and some new things happening here on the upbeat, and you're tired of the highest insurance in the country, and people and companies won't even come to Louisiana because our insurance is so high, but nobody seems to be able to do anything about it. Well, I'm going to be the guy that's going to go down there and fight for these things, because we can do a lot better job.
All right, thank you, Mr. Parker. Mr. J. Morris, your final statements, 1 minute.
Thank you, Ms. Shelley. I've got a record that speaks for itself. You know, just because you've been in the legislature for 8 years doesn't mean that you shouldn't be elected to the Senate. Ralph Abraham has been an amazing congressman, and things are really screwed up in Washington, and Republicans have the majority in Congress, or they did until recently. Yet he wasn't able to wave a wand. So nobody can wave a wand and make it all be exactly like we want it. I've got an excellent record. My bills that I've passed are things like our veterans. I passed a bill that Governor Jindal signed that would enhance the penalties for when our veterans get attacked physically. I passed the class action reform bill that ended frivolous class action in this state. I passed a bill that provided temporary funding for higher education, a $200 million exemption bill that actually did something. You can go down to Baton Rouge and file all the bills you want. If they don't do anything, they'll certainly slide right on through. And with that, I'm going to ask for your vote on October 12th.
All right, gentlemen, thank you so much. And guys, thank you so much at home for watching and tuning in with us on air and online. This is the State Senate District race for 35. We're ending our debate. We're ending our podcast on our website, marklemis.com. If you're watching this right now, you're going to be able to see the whole debate on our website again, marklemis.com. Cannot stop saying that enough. For our candidates, for our co-host, Zach Parker, thank you so much for joining us, and have a great night.
Thank you.
From NBC 10 News, your local election headquarters, this has been the Louisiana Senate Debate. Sponsored by Creed & Creed, your local injury attorneys.